Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 145th episode of Book of Hours, playing as the artist and implementing all of the things that we spent so much time working on Monday. So, in terms of leveling up or otherwise using the consider verb, really, it's 30 seconds, and then we run with everything that we possibly can. Now, I believe the last little bit that I'll need to level up door and wall will be available right at the time that the consider verb becomes available, so I don't really have a particular preference in terms of the ordering. The kind of target of opportunity, let's say, will be to renew some kind of either health or core, so that I can try and take advantage of some of the special items that I can pick up. So I could try and go for the cuckoo honey, or this one. I could also try to go for I think there's moly and aglyphotis. I don't think I get anything special in this part, but anyways. Oh yes, and Pyrus or Calcinius, I think. I don't think we have one of those actually, so it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for me to maybe try and get one of those. Anyways, I think it's pretty clear that there is a lot for me to do, so let's get started. Poured out. If I try and draw water from the Hush House well right now, I would get Mist-Kissed water, but I believe we already got some of that. And Julian Cosley. Okay, so one thing I am kind of curious about, so we've got Julian Cosley will accept an incident or a tally amount if Solomon is gone, if Solomon remains. So what I'm curious about here, if we have a tally value, I'm gonna guess that won't count for the book. Yeah. So I'm going to have to talk with him. If there's an incident card active, you can discuss it, or just leave the slot empty and offer a consultation. So in this case, Cosley would like 7 moon or 7 winter. I'll just double check that I have... Well, I think at the very least, the 3 and the 3 would work. Maybe we don't want him reading one of those, but all right. I can identify my visitor's interests and satisfy them with an appropriate book. Alternatively, if they know a language that I'd like to learn, I can offer payment. So if I could try giving him the gold spintria, but I think it'll just tell me that I doesn't have a language that I need. In this case, he has Ericapean. Okay, so he doesn't react to me putting towards a fundamental aesthetic inside. I am slightly curious about a different work, but interesting. Okay. So, Cosley, do I want to give him... There is Moon, someone is interested in hidden things, or Winter, the principle of silence. So I guess the question is, which of these two demands do I want to satisfy for him? If I can find an 8 Winter book, so the Ivory book, but I don't think he knows Fusine. Yeah. But Etery After would do the trick. So, suitable reading. My visitor is interested in how something will end. My collection has answers. Alternatively, if we do... That's not good enough. The visitor has questions about hidden things. Yeah, we'll give him the winter. So I believe we'll be getting a little bit less in terms of the reward just because of the... I mean, it's more than what we would get from a normal visitor, but I think we'll be getting less because we didn't have a specific incident that we're dealing with. But again, we don't need to be too obsessive about what comes up. All right, The Crossing to Noon. The mystic Garcia Sauri gives a picturesque account of the adventures of Franklin Bancroft, the Prince of Wines, and Ava de Wolf, the Pale Lady, on their way to the hidden island of Noon. For a long time, the Blackbone pondered her next move until the moon dared to peep from behind a cloud, and the prince completed the composition of his third sestina, but the lady met the blind gaze of its open pores, waiting for the tide. Garcia Sauri acknowledges in an epilogue that it is widely known that Ava in fact tragically drowned herself and her twin infant granddaughters, without ever making such a journey. But he adds contemptuously, it is also widely known that the city unbuilt will so remain, that only one history is ever written, and that Janus is a Mansus prank. Okay, so we've got the salt that we needed. The skill is now level 1. Use your many-faceted lessons wisely. All right, we'll line these up. All right, I'm feeling a little nervous about my plans. Nope, we're still good. Okay, let's get the door and wall for starters. And apparently I took one too many. So that is a little bit of a shame. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the thing that is most relevant to... So I think Noombroom will be the one that I want. Well, salt also gives me... Okay, well, no, Noombroom gives me more. All right, when I thought I'd understood, I'd only begun. So I don't actually need to deal with... So again, obviously I had a little bit of a jump in terms of my overall plans. If I'm bringing Hive's Lament, that was for... Right, that was for a winter thing. Okay, so the plan still sort of stands as it is. Okay. The Devoured Tantra. The diplomat priest Stanislav John Schaller transcribed this from the library of a Red Long, but his manuscript remains in a private collection in Karasham. The Devoured Tantra warns of the uses and dangers of appetite, but devotes an entire passage to the star-limbed hunger-bringers, who it describes with obvious affection. A million blazing fires in the belly engulf what has been swallowed by the multiform mouths. So there is a confounding parable. Next up, we've got the Perugian Diaries. In 1907, at the age of 18, Christopher Lopoli left Strathcoyne's household to study theology at the University of Perugia in Italy, enrolling under the name Christopher Strathcoyne. For 4 years since his adoption from a Bristol orphanage, Lopoli served as Strathcoyne's pupil and protege, but his relationship with this austere and secretive man was always complicated. His journal confides, "I still think Fraser's intentions are good, certainly he agrees, but I never understood the final goal of his investigations. He was never prepared to enlighten me, and good intentions or not, I can no longer bear this dream of eyes. We have agreed to part almost amicably." Lopoli left Perugia in 1909 without completing his degree. He had long lost interest in his studies, and the latter half of his journal is concerned with the studies of Umbrian folk songs, and notes towards his own compositions, which are of widely varying quality. One of the better ones, In the Marshes of Night, suggests he visited the site of the old Lake Fucinus near Ortuccio. From History to Eternity, the Contraband Manual of the Inks of Revelation. I think I messed up with this one, but I might be able to salvage it. Contraband Manual of the Inks of Revelation, the author explains in a brief foreword that she is a high-ranking officer of an agency of the duties, and that though she supports its mission, she has concerns about the long-term consequences of its work. All histories are braided into a golden loop, a shining ascent to eternity. I never imagined I could be afraid that there might be too few truths. I could be wrong, but I'd like to leave at least one door ajar. Ichor Auroral can be brewed into an Incastum Terminale associated with the second history, using Inks of Revelation techniques with rose aspect. The author warns that this is exceptionally difficult, since these techniques aren't aligned with rose, but that's why I'm hoping the door will stay ajar, even once all the others are closed. I wish you luck. I think I'm going to need to... I'm going to need to take a few notes in terms of the different memories that I've been building up. All right. The deeds of the scarred captain, painstakingly assembled by the soldier of fortune and sometimes remittance man Pavel Shulga during his years in Greece. An account of the founding of Mycenae by a scarred captain who first slew 7 monsters to make the land safe. As the captain destroys each monster, a flood of blood rises higher until at last a priestess drowns and is reborn as a serpent goddess. She blesses the captain, and he departs for the house above the forest, leaving Mycenae to reign supreme after the flood of blood subsides. And finally, the Book of Thrones, a legend of the Shadowless Empire, transcribed by Alexander Peterhans from Annals at a secret shrine in Anatolia. In the first and greatest history, a subject of the Shadowless Empire of Persia travels to the west, to the kingdom of the Persids. There he becomes a protege of the tutelary Persid deity, the Scarred Man, who lives in the dark. He returns after 7 years to put his skills at the service of the Shadowless Empire, becoming their golden general. After many years of peace, the heirs of the Persids move against the King of Kings in the Shadowless Empire. The Golden General will not take arms against the blood of his mentor until the King of Kings whispers a great secret of betrayal in his ear. He breaks his swords, forswears his oath to both the Empire and the Scarred Man, and enters the temple behind the world, leaving his life behind. Okay, so what I'm noticing here is I believe I am one short on the... I'm one short on the... Oh no, hang on. This is not as difficult as it seems. So this should be for Edicts... Yeah. This should be for Edicts Martial. This should be for... Right now... Bells and Braziers. I may change that up. Okay, so if I wanted to try and bring something with 3 up, the common thread among these would be Sky. But Watchman's Paradoxes works for this. And if I put the Confounding Parable in here... So the catch is I would need to somehow get the Faust back, which would kill my, that would kill my chances for... Well... Yeah, no, it still kills my chances for the... for the gardening. Okay. I don't want to get too clever with this, because now with an imbalance in my elements of the soul, like right now, I'm in danger of not fulfilling the all of the lessons. And you know, the funny thing is, if I'm able to get if I'm able to get an element of the soul back, there's actually a shot for me to get glass blowing and vessel crafting instead. Okay, so let's think about the logic behind this. What I want to do, in theory, I'm going to use my Trist to level this one up. I'm going to use my Arab to level this and this. Okay. So I've got 30 seconds before... Oh yeah, no, we can totally do this. Again, I'm probably not doing anything with the... Okay, let's lock in the choice. So, I'm going to try and move up glass blowing and vessel crafting instead. What I will do is I will get a beguiling melody. I gotta be really careful in terms of making sure that I get the Faust back in time, because there's not a whole lot of room for error anymore. The skill is now level 7, its power aspects have also increased. Now what we're going to do is we're going to restore my Ragged Crossroads. There's always more to learn. Improve the skill to level 2. This will help increase its aspects, which will help with crafting and make it suitable for higher branches in the Tree of Wisdoms. Sorry, I'm feeling very nervous about my my chances here. I'm going to focus on the bed. You've satisfied your visitor and earned a reward, but the more they learn, the harder they'll be to satisfy in the future. So we'll sneak this in just under the wire as far as the Faust is concerned. I deserved a little quiet time. Okay. Another glass of water. Quick nap in a warm bed with something comforting to drink while the winds chase the clouds and the clouds chase the sun. Okay, once more with the Ragged Crossroads. I am no expert, but I'm no dabbler either. So I'll bump up the Edict's Marshal, just because that's the one we're ready to go with. And again, the part that didn't quite work for me here was it would have been nice to use some of the surplus with the core to do the gardening. I don't think that is realistic for me anymore. But I don't entirely regret the choice either. The big thing for today's work was I kind of already knew that I was on the back foot in terms of leveling up door and wall. So there is a bit of a strategy for Numa. So again, if your focus is on getting as many levels as you can in terms of the the skills, one of the things that helps is to have lots of elements of the soul. And then what you do is you work out how many lessons learned you can work with in a day. And technically it's the number of lessons learned you can work with in a day plus 1, because you can park that in the in the dream slot. And essentially what you do with that is you sort of work out your plan. You level everything up that you can through the acquisition of memories. And in fact, the fact that you can now bring Numa in, that actually allows you to repeat that process as long as you're able to do it. It is actually quite costly to do. So, I wouldn't bring in Numa carelessly, let's say. But yeah, if you're more willing to commit skills, Numa can actually be a really good learning time if that's what you're interested in. The Intimations of Skin, fiendishly complex, weirdly distorted illustrations of Congress and anatomy by the haunted visionary painter Niels Fredrik Malsker. Malsker eliminates the evolutions of the names of the Grail with unfortunate clarity. It seems that a lovely who consumes an ivory becomes an ivory. A lovely who consumes a thirstly becomes a thirstly. A lovely who consumes a name of another hour might take its place. In the penultimate illustration, a lovely grapples with a fungoid knot that can only be a name of the crowned growth. The lovely's mouth and other portals gape wide, and the growth name is already partially engulfed. But it seems that Malsker couldn't bring himself to illustrate the result, and the final illustration is only a scrawled, bloated obscurity. Okay. There's the Ragged Crossroads. We'll now level up Edict's Marshal. So satisfying to have come so far. And then at this point, the last step will be to wait for rest. And then we level up. I think we said we were going to do glass blowing and vessel crafting. The skill is now level 5. Its power aspects have also increased. Another option I had, if I didn't want to give up the water, I believe I could use the laundry, but then that just costs me money at the Sweet Bones. And then, of course, it also ties up the Sweet Bones, I believe. So in that case, I was a little more willing to give up the water, because in the end, that's really just an application of heart. I deserved a little quiet time. All right. Now, I will confess, I haven't put a lot of thought into how I would like to navigate the Tree of Wisdom, so another way that I might have approached this, so satisfying to have come so far, another way I might have approached this is to consider like where I want to put everything. There will be an episode where I do that, because I think some of what you learn about the world based on the Tree of Wisdom is very interesting. But right now I'm just kind of acquiring what I can. And I think... like one other way of approaching this would be, once I have an idea in terms of what goes where, maybe with a mind to trying to get the highest levels in terms of, I probably could have got a core back and done some gardening. Now's not the time to do that, though. Well, yeah, no, I think at this point we would be at the end of the night. I might be able to sneak out a little gardening, but I'd rather not risk it. Or do I? I can't keep the earth sign overnight. Yeah, you know what? Let's see if we can sneak out a little something to remember Numa. What did I do wrong? Suitable companion for oh, those are towels. The linen somewhere, didn't we? There we go. Quick nap in a warm bed with something comforting to drink while the winds chase the clouds and the clouds chase the sun. So I suppose the question would be, do I go for the Aglafotis? Do I go for the Moly? Do I go for the Mist-Kissed Water? Do I maybe try the honey? Honey would require health, so I suppose I've already knocked that out of the running. You know, I don't see any of the special flowers right now. Oh, here we go. So I do have Aglafotis, but just the one. I think I'll still take it anyway. Alright, night is fallen, dawn will come soon. So this is instructive, right? Because if I can be reasonably sure that the night won't be over by the time I, you know, I do a restoration like this, that opens some other possibilities for me in terms of preserving a lesson learned. Yep. Very good news. No! Night gardening is more atmospheric than practical. I should come back tomorrow. Alright. I think I might have actually got hit by that once before, because that sounds familiar. So I will get the Mist-Kissed Water instead. Mist coils below. Probably wouldn't have soiled the the laundry for that, but there you have it. Winter. Now comes the white. Afterwards, I don't remember what work I performed except in sense and sensations. Leaf mold, a rhythmic musical clicking like melodious castanets, soft blue flame like antique gaslight, and cold. I remember where we went, it was cold. As my concentration fails, a part of my soul flutters away, drawn by half-distant imaginary light. So I need to get 5 Grail back. Now, all told, we're doing very well. We have 2 gold Spentria and a bronze. I probably want to get the... well, I'm going to need to get some... I'm going to need to get something to drink first. So, and the well is currently occupied. I don't know if I have a glass of water kicking around. I have a coffee. Yeah, here's one. Let's get that, let's get that healed as soon as we can. I mean, this might be helpful in terms of building certain things, but I can't actually think of a case where I... Oh, actually, you know what? There's one... Oh, but no, not with Rose. I was going to say there might actually be one narrow situation in which I could use that element of the soul. Unfortunately, I don't think I have a Rose... Yeah, I don't have a Rose cooking space, so I was thinking that maybe I could make like a Witching Tisane or something like that. But anyways, I don't need to get too clever with this. So let's take item... The resurgence is an well, okay. Let's not lose our heads here. Pentaments and precursors won't do the trick. Signs and scars will. Strong sensation will bring my wandering spirit home. All right. What do I want to do with the day? I've been spending so much time thinking about Numa that I'm kind of leaving aside all of the other things that I would want to do. So, I suppose, well, actually, this will be an interesting thing. So I'm going to load up on a lot of memories that I don't really need, but I guess now's not the worst time for me to do something like this. So if I read my deeds, my powers, my achievements, and the injustices perpetrated against me, that'll give me some extra transformations and liberations. And then the orchid transfigurations will give me extra resurgences and emergences. So those are the ones that are sort of doubled up. And then I suppose we have the manner in which the alchemist was spared. Now let me just make sure. Okay, so... Oh no, I guess technically we could try all of these. All right, well let's... I believe for my deeds and my powers, I have to... Well, I also need the metal anyway. Let me just double check. Okay, yes, so we do need a memory. We might as well bring in Mrs. Kill for the memories. Mrs. Kill's mood always improves when I drop by. Mrs. Kill stands ready to help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. Let's get our... Well, you know what? We can start the next stream off with this. So essentially, I need to get the forge memory that I need to get the 16 for the mystery forge. I was thinking that maybe I could read the manner in which the alchemist was spared, but the problem with that is I don't have another metal to throw that at. So essentially, I would be waiting on the shaft. Again, neither here nor there, but orchid transfigurations we can use with my existing grail, so that's no problem. But yeah, I think at this point I kind of want to clear out the books on my shelf that I haven't already. I don't already have or that I know I can get without any trouble. And then, essentially, the goal is going to be to maybe find out what else is going on in the library. I've sort of been threatening for such a long time that I want to review these books to see which ones I can read, but because I've been working on everything else for so long, I think maybe, I just haven't been working on it. Maybe it's the time to actually follow through and see what other possibilities have opened up. The other thing to remember, of course, is that we have just got out of Numa, so we don't have any of the persistent memories, so we can slowly build those up over time. I'm not necessarily in a rush to get them, especially because I've done a lot of experimentation in terms of being able to, try out different recipes and such. I am going to want to get a little more aggressive with that because I'm at the point where I might want to start thinking about making a few different types of inks. There's a few different things that I might want to try. But again, it's just a question in terms of how I balance out my priorities. And tomorrow rather, the focus is definitely going to be on the books, which I can read easily. Anyways, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next episode. Take care.